Hey everyone, my name is Mike Perna, CEO of the Perna Group Realtors, and first I want to say thank you so much for your trust in our team and our specialists on helping you through this home buying process. Now, I gotta admit, you've got great taste. You picked a home that other buyers want as well, and there are multiple offers on this property. So I want to talk through just a few key tactics that we can use and utilize. Although you don't need to use all of them, you can select some or all of them with which to get the property. First one is the family letter. This one I highly encourage. People love to know that their home is going to a family that they can identify with. Somebody that wants to raise their kids there or has dogs and they have dogs and so everybody loves dogs. Whatever that looks like, they love to identify with that buyer because oftentimes there's a lot of sentimental value that goes into their home itself, right? Like they raised their kids there, they've raised their family there, they've created a lot of memories there just like you're going to as well. Here are my top tips for the best family letter. First, don't overthink it. Let's keep that down to one page, just a couple of paragraphs. It doesn't need to be a book. 2, feel free to include a photo of you, your family, your pets, children, all of it. Putting a face to the name and words helps the seller remember you and helps you to stand out. 3, give compliments. In addition to telling the sellers a little bit about you, make sure you compliment the things you love in their home and the reason why it works so well for your family. And 4, last but not least, come from the heart. This is about connection, something we can all use a little more of these days. Second one is occupancy. Most sellers need occupancy in this market because where they're going next, they need the funds from the closing, from this closing, to go and close on their next property, which means they need time in between the move. So they need time after closing. Right now, we're seeing a lot of buyers giving sellers free 15, 30, or even 45 days after closing where they don't have to pay rent, which is a nice teaser and it's a couple of bucks in that seller's pocket. The good part of this is with a mortgage, with a new mortgage, it's wait one, pay one. So when you get your loan, your first payment isn't due the first of the next month, it's due the first of the following month. Let's do an example. If you close on this home on March 14th, then your first mortgage payment isn't due on April 1st, it's due May 1st. This means you have approximately 46 days between March 14th and May 1st where you don't owe a mortgage payment. You can use this as a benefit to the sellers by offering them the extra time for free, and it doesn't actually cost you anything out of your pocket. Third I want to cover is escalation clauses. If you're willing to pay X and another buyer is willing to pay Y, you're saying, okay, I'm willing to pay X plus an amount above the next offer, capped at a specific amount. The huge benefit is that you aren't overpaying for the home. So let's do a couple of examples. What most agents do when there are multiple offers is ask what your highest offer is for that home, and then they write that in the purchase agreement. But here's the catch. If your highest offer on a home listed at $325 was $350 and the next highest offer was only $335, then you just overpaid for that home by $15,000. An escalation clause in this scenario might look like this. The highest you're willing to go is $350,000. So what your Perna Team agent will write is that your offer is $325 list price and that you'll beat any other bona fide offer by $2,500 up to $350,000. If the next highest offer was $335,000, then you'd win the home and only pay $337,500. $2,500 higher than the next buyer. Our escalation clause just saved you $12,500. Last but not least, I want to cover the appraisal guarantee. Now, what this says is if the property appraises for less than the agreed upon purchase price up to a certain amount, sometimes that's $10,000, sometimes it's $20,000, sometimes it's $30,000, could be any number, and sometimes it's a blanket, then we will continue to go forward with the home purchase. Now, what that also means, Mr. Buyer, and I want to make sure that I'm clear on this, is you'll be bringing those additional funds to closing in addition to your down payment. The reason why this is important in this market is because as home prices have continued to increase, appraisals always lag 90 days or so behind home values. So if home values went up 1 or 2% and the sales aren't there to support it because of course they haven't happened yet, that 1 or 2 or 3 or 4%, that would be the difference in the appraisal. Let's do an example here. Let's say you beat out the other offers and get this home for $500,000. A couple weeks later, the appraisal comes back in at $470,000. Typically, there would be a renegotiation at that point where either the sellers would come down in price or the buyer would have to bring the extra money to the closing to cover the difference, or worst case, everyone would back out, we'd have to find a new home. An appraisal guarantee can guarantee a certain amount will be brought to the closing table up front at the beginning of the process. So if you offered a $20,000 appraisal guarantee in this example, you would guarantee up front that you would pay $490 for this home if it appraised at $470. It gives the sellers assurance from the beginning that this deal is less likely to fall apart if the appraisal is indeed low and lagging behind the market. These are 4 of the tactics you can use to lever yourself into the home to put your best foot forward and look even better than the next guy. Thank you again, and good luck on the multiple offer situation.